Gorgeous people, it's your girl NAIJAKHLOE. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to have a sit down and chat and talk about something that I know very so well. It's the realistic expectations of growing up in an African household. Mind you, for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is NAIJAKHLOE. If you don't know what that means, Naija means I am from Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria but raised and overseas here in America. But my culture and the impact of my culture never left. Even though I've been here for the majority of my life, my parents always still instilled something. And one of the things that I noticed is those of us who were born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s, there's a lot of things that our parents did not prepare us for. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you have your thumbs up. And if you're watching, make sure you have your thumbs up. For my fellow Naija people or for my fellow African descendant people, comment in the section below what part of Africa you are from. So like I said, got my snacks here, got my water here. I already ate the candy, but let's go ahead and just dive right in. You know your girl loves a list of things. So I'm wearing my wonderful comfy pajama. So it's Barbie inspired, so I'm gonna link it below if you're interested. It's a nice cute little set. But number one, unrealistic expectation. Now, mind you, like I said, this might not go for everybody, but I have a lot of Nigerian friends. And one of the things that a lot of us talk about is some of the unrealistic things, or we didn't feel like our parents prepared us for adulthood. Honestly, especially us girls and females, because we're seeing a lot of the effects now. So luckily, the generation now after us has definitely changed. But those of us who are like first generation Americans, or it's really, really hard, some of the things that we had to deal with, especially like I said, growing up in the 80s, being born in the 80s and growing up in the 90s. So unrealistic rule number one is getting married after college. How many of my sisters or brothers with your mom, and like, for example, I can only talk about my mom, Mama, I love you. But how many of our parents, when you're growing up, don't talk to boys. Don't talk to boys. They are bad for you. Focus on your studies. Focus on your book. But the minute after you get that degree in your hand, the next question is, my daughter, when are you going to get married now? You don't have any boyfriend. Mommy, daddy, where's this man supposed to come from? You scared me my whole life that I shouldn't even talk to boys, even in church. I shouldn't be talking to them. I can't stay next to them. If they sneeze on me, you get pregnant. So where are you expecting this magical man to appear from that's going to marry me all of a sudden? That doesn't mean I didn't talk to different, but I had my people. But I'm just saying, that is the unrealistic expectation that the minute after you graduate from college, you're just supposed to have somebody just wait around to marry you. I guess that's what happened for them. They all met their true loves in college, but that's not how it works here in this part of the world in the Western country. That's not how it works. So they automatically expect you to get married, but you haven't had time to date. You didn't even give me a chance to date so I can know who's who. Like I said, you have your guy friend, he's like, mommy, this is my friend though. My friend though. We know he's not your friend, sister, we know. But they're like, your friend? But yes, that's number one. I'm expecting you to just automatically just have this man waiting for you, or as you cross the stage, he at the end of it waiting to propose to you. Mommy, daddy, aunties now. That is not realistic. You guys didn't do us any favor by making us fear boys. Funny thing, it was the girls, because I've never heard my mom and dad say, talk to my brothers or talk to the males. They never really give that warning to the guys. Be careful for girls though. They're like, he's a boy now, it's okay. But girls, why are you talking to him? Who is he? Here. I hope you're being careful though. Who are you talking to? My dear. No, mommy and daddy, aunties, uncles. That wasn't fair. That was unfair for us to not have a chance to date and get to know people, and all of a sudden you want us to be married by the time we graduate from college. That's not real. Numero dos, two. This, I guarantee you, every African household has heard this. When it was time for you to go to college and pick a career, or even to pick a partner after you graduated, your parents only told you there's only 3 careers you can make money in at that time. Like I said, this is for people who were born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. There was only 3 careers, and I knew most of my friends did. My generation, we did. You can only either be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer. Those are the only 3 that every African parent thought that would be successful. If you say you want to be an artist, I want to be a singer. Go and sing in church ministry. But most of the people that I grew up with are either doctors or nurses, lawyers or engineers. You barely have a few handful of friends who are other things. Like I said, now the generations are different. Everyone's getting famous by just being on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it may be. But my generation, y'all know what I'm talking about. My mom and dad forced me to go to school and become a nurse when I was growing up. And they even said, if you don't be a nurse, we're not paying for your college. Hey, mommy and daddy. So I went to nursing school. Though y'all didn't know, your girl went to nursing school. I was smart to get into nursing school. Now, did I last? You can see no. I had to turn around and change that profession because it wasn't for me. It was not. I'll be doing it for my parents' sake. I'll be doing it because what's going to make them happy, not because it's making me happy as a person, not because it makes me happy for profession, but I was doing it for them, and then they all were seeing the money, and I understand in their minds they want their children to be stable financially. They want them to be well off. So at that time, that's what the money making is. But now so many things have changed, because right now everyone's doing IT, they're doing AI, they're doing XYZ, they're doing different things and making money. But back then, and for my generation, my people, y'all know. Comment below. What did your parents make sure to tell you that you needed to be? Because even when it was time to find a partner, they would ask, what does he do? Mommy, he does business. What business does he do? Sells shipping cars. Their demeanor would just change. Shipping cars. What type of cars is he shipping? And you say, it better not be Toyota, Corolla, or Honda. It better be Porsche, Bentley, all those type of things. But them telling us that there's only success in those kind of limited us to where we're at now, to where we're all like, okay, you became a nurse. Now, after being a nurse wasn't enough. Now, those of us had to know, those people who were nurses had to now go back and be nurse practitioners, just to step up the bar a little bit, because being a bare BSN was not enough. You had to go higher. You had to go all the way up. So that was number 2, that they limit us in what we could do in school and what we can become. Yeah, your girl's thirsty. I've been talking a lot, man. Take a little break. All right, back to our conversation. Number 3, the unrealistic role of a woman. The unrealistic role of a woman. Like if you were born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s, your parents were probably first generation, or you were probably first generation to come to America with your parents. And your parents grew up on the old traditional way of housing, which is the man is the provider, the woman runs the household. So growing up as a female, you were taught that your role is to cook, clean, and take care of the children. Those are 3 things. You need to know how to cook. You need to know how to clean. You need to know how to take care of your children. Now, mind you, one thing I can say about my mom is my brothers learned how to cook too. My brothers know how to cook. They know how to take care of themselves, to the point where, because my mom was like, I don't want your wife to starve you, so come on, learn how to cook. So my brothers know how to cook. So they do a good job in cooking for themselves and cooking for their family. They know how to do some seasoning. My brothers can season, boy. They know how to season good old chicken. But that role as a woman it was not fair if I put that on us right off the bat. To the point where it's like, that's all we know how to do. Like when you meet a guy, can you cook? That's the first question they would ask most guys. Oh, can you cook? Or do you know how to cook? Or like it was just that domestic type of life. On top of, like I said, you go to get a degree. Like one thing I can say, I was also with my mom, when it came to us girls, she pushed for us to make sure that we have our own. She was like, go to school, make sure you have your own so you don't have to rely on any man, which is great. We had our own, but she also made sure that whenever she was cooking, the girls had to be there. No matter what time it is, come on, blend, come on, do this. But at the end of the day, growing up, I appreciated it because I know how to cook my family and take care of my family. But that was something that we had to know how to do. You had to know how to cook, clean, and take care of children. Whether or not you wanted to have children, they didn't care, because you can't tell your African parent you don't want to have kids. They're like, that's a taboo. What do you mean you don't want to have children? God forbid. Like, that was not a realistic decision if you don't want to have kids. So you had to learn how to cook and clean. So you had to cook and clean so you can take care of your husband and run your household. That is all they cared about. And plus, on top of it, they want you to go to school. So you go to school, you finish school, you now have this a job that they pay for you to go to school. But after you come out of school, your job is to cook, clean, take care of your children, and take care of, and serve your husband. You get to serve him. Serve him. Like I said, the generation now, my babies after me. Like I look at my little cousins and who are they serving? You nowadays, these men serving the women. It's 50-50. You serve me, I serve you. But back then in my group, you served your husband. I remember at a particular time in our life when we were younger, my dad, whenever he wanted to eat panadilla, my mom used to bring him a basin of water, and she'll bring it to the table so he can wash his hands at the table so he can eat his panadilla, fufu, whatever it may be, his swallow. But as time changed, what did Daddy do? Daddy got up and went to the sink to go wash his hands because my mom she was taking care of 6 kids. She didn't have time to bring no basin. So my dad learned just to go to the kitchen and to go to the sink and wash his hands. But those are those roles that were implanted on us that after school, you get married and you have to cook and clean and take care of your husband, take care of your household. That was your role as a woman. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, but that should not have to be what your whole training of your childhood was about. Preparing you to become a wife and a mom and take care of your husband and your household and forget about anything else that concerned you. Our mothers were so burnt out for trying to do it all. Our mothers were so burnt out of worrying about what other people say. Our mothers were so burned out of society pressures that a lot of them neglected themselves, and it's affecting some of their healths now. It's affecting some of their healths now. But like I said, times have changed, and now they're learning and they're seeing things that it's okay to have some self-care. It's okay for you to go and get a massage or go on a spa, go on a trip, get a manicure and pedicure. It's okay for you to think about yourself. Well, now they think about themselves now because their kids are grown and we're probably forcing it on them. But they endured so much because of that society rule. And all they knew, you can only teach what you know. And that's what they knew. So they taught it to their daughters. Now, mind you, as a mom of 3 girls, I try to mix. I don't force the whole know how to cook thing. But my daughters, they got to learn how to clean. We ain't going to have no dirty house. They know how to clean. They're going to be respectful. They're going to be mindful. They're going to take care of themselves. Make sure I put time for yourself, self-care for yourself. That's very, very important. Because I always say, if you don't have anything to give other people, if you can't pour out to other people and don't have anything for yourself, that is not right. But that is unrealistic role number 3. It's something that I really feel like if you can now, you're a parent. I don't think our parents prepared us financially for the finances. Like I said, there were a lot of things that I don't know how dad and son relationships were, but I don't remember my mom sitting me down talking to me about finances, about how to budget. And those are things that now I'm an educator in school that I know that they only do one grading period on financial literacy in schools, where financial literacy is something that I feel like should be taught every single month of school, because you're going to need to know that, how to budget yourself. And I feel like growing up in an African household or Nigerian household, to be for sure, I didn't get no financial literacy talk. I didn't get nothing of that sort at all. I didn't know how to balance. By the time I didn't know how to balance my checkbook, I didn't know the difference between credit and debit. I did not know nothing until I got to maybe high school or college, and then I learned from other people. But that's a conversation that I don't remember growing up in an African household having with my parents at all. None of that sort. So preparing for the future, talking about retirement, talking about building investment or stock, none of that happened. I don't know if it's just my household. My people who are watching, my fellow Africans, Nigerians, did your parents have a conversation with you about financial literacy? Because I don't remember that happening at all, which is something that's very, very important. So my parents now, if you're watching, you have older kids or even kids in elementary, middle school, start talking to them. Like one of the things I do with my daughter, she's 5 and she gets excited. We go to the grocery store and I carry cash. I want her to be able to use cash, because nowadays, generation right now, everyone's a swipe card, swipe and go. But a lot of them don't know how to count money or deal with change. Like they're going to get cheated because all they know is swipe or tap. But when you go to the store and you have younger ones, allow them, if you can, carry like $20 cash. Allow them to be able to give that interchange, do some math, bring a calculator, make it a learning fun experience. And I know it's a lot, but they're going to appreciate you for that later, because you don't want your kids getting cheated because they're like, well, I didn't know anything about money. My mama was tap, 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 tap and go, or use your phone. Like, technology has made it so much easier for us that we forgot what it means to actually interchange and have personal relationship with people, which money exchange because when you're dealing with money, you have to look at the person, give them your change, receive your change, make sure your change is correct. You're not just throwing your bag. I don't know about y'all, but I don't just throw my money in my bag. I have to count and be like, ma'am, you cheated me 3 cents. Like, we're gonna get that 3 cents back. But yes, people, so definitely for sure, please make sure that you are teaching your kids financial literacy at a young age, because I definitely feel like I missed that chapter growing up. All right, Jen, before we get to number 5, if you're watching this right now on your TV, I'm going to put the scan code right here. Just go ahead and scan it with your phone, and that takes you to all my, it's a page for all my platforms where I'm at, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, my affiliated links, my Amazon storefront, wherever you want to find NAIJAKHLOE. If you scan that barcode right there, you'll be able to do it. I saw another influencer doing it. I just thought it was like a great idea, so I'm stealing it from her. I'm saying I'm open. We all learn, and we have to find ways easier for you guys. So here, scan it, and it'll take you to all my platforms, so you can just check out where NAIJAKHLOE is at and what other codes I have for you to get discounts on different things. Now, number 5 and the last one is communication or lack of affection. A lack of communication and lack of affection. Now, when I mean the sense of lack of communication, we didn't have sit-down family talks. I don't remember even us sitting down as a family having dinner together, like, you see on TV. I used to see that on TV all the time. Families sit together having dinner and talking about their day. That didn't happen in our household. We prayed because we went to church a lot. We prayed. We had little fun moments. Like, it wasn't like we were sitting there. Let me get that wrong. We would never sit, but whenever my mom was cooking, someone was cooking, the smell would bring everyone in the kitchen, and we'll probably just talk and stand, but never just have a sit down talking. So there was never no communication of what's going on with you, your life plans. That never really happened. Even how to conflict resolution, like, because of, like, our parents a lot hid things from their kids, our generation. They didn't fight in front of their kids, or they discussed things behind closed doors, or if they spoke the same language, they would speak amongst themselves, and the kids didn't understand what's going on. So we never really saw, I can never say never saw conflict resolution, how my parents solved marital issues. So growing up, I had to learn what I saw on TV or what I learned from my friends, or just hit and miss in my relationship. So that lack of communication, I feel like in that sense of preparing for marriage relationships was something that I feel like I really would have wanted, which is one of the reasons why I'm very, very open with my kid and I talk about with them, especially my oldest one. And the second one is, thus I feel like this two go together, lack of affection. Saying the words I love you, or just giving hugs, or just affirmations or reassurances, like, they more of like, well, my actions should let you know how I feel, but sometimes you want to hear it. Sometimes you want to hear from your parents, I'm proud of you. Sometimes you want to hear from your parents, I love you. And I said, my mom says it now, they were older, but I don't remember, because I feel like I said it was harder because, she was working. She was, being immigrants, kind of like I said, our parents were immigrants coming to a country, and they had to start from fresh, and they're trying to raise kids the right way. And they also had a lot of pressures from back home. So that wasn't the typical African household, didn't have those, oh, I love you, come here, that you see on TV, or your mom and dad never apologized to you, those type of things that, but honestly, does that mean my childhood was messed up? Not at all. I can sit here and just laugh about it, but at the same time, I know what I do want for my own girls and my own kids. And you learn better. Like I said, your parents can only give you what they know, and I feel like my parents gave us what they know, and the best thing they ever gave us in this world was God. They gave us God, and that's the best gift that they could ever give us. Like, let me not go on another tangent, but that was one thing that, so my fellow generation and that after me, like, so if you have kids, give them some love and affection, especially if you have girls, because I feel like with girls, then they get their number one interaction with the man is with their dad. So if they don't get that affection and communication from their dad, they're going to try and go out and get it from men, and it might not work in the best positive way. So you want them to be able to experience it. So when any man come with any boo-boo to foo-foo, I love you, baby, he's like, well, my daddy love me too. He tells me all the time. So take your love somewhere. What else you got besides I love you? What else can you add to my life? What else can you do that my daddy can't do? But let's go ahead and just wrap it up. All right, my sugar bananas, thanks for hanging out with NAIJAKHLOE Pillow Talk. And we talk about growing up in an African household. Like I said before, I love my growing up. I love the experiences that I had and maybe the woman that I am today. And I'm loving that I can just sit back and laugh at it all. But I wanted to just make sure I share that, make sure that we are doing better as a generation. Like I said, our parents did the best they can during that time, but we can do way much better because we are more advanced. And society has made things more advanced for us. So comment below, which one of these 1 through 5 can you relate to? Which one of these have you experienced yourself? Or is there something else that I didn't add? Just let's talk. My fellow Nigerians, Africans, diaspora, even the people, if you might not be an African, people, if this relates to you, being a child of an immigrant growing up, if any of these topics relate to you, please comment below. I would love to hear your stories and your feedback. But your girl's about to go finish her snacks, watch her movie, because I'm on a staycation with no kids, honey. Mom, you know what that is. Anyways, toodles. Love you. Good night.